gonna jump right into today's video. So now I have my lovely Fenty goodies. Like, I honestly wasn't even expecting to receive these, but you know how Fenty fam does, they blessed your girls. First up, I have 3 shades of the cream bronzer. So these are them here. I have shades Honey Glaze, Chocolate, and Teddy. I think Honey Glaze is probably going to be that girl, but we got to look further into that. I think Fenty fam really blessed and gave all 10 shades of the cheeks. What is this? The Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blushes. So these are the 10 shades. Now, one thing I definitely want to do is I love going to like the product page on Sephora just to have like a little bit more information about the actual item itself. So first, let me just check the bronzers. Okay, so for the bronzers, what I love to do, like I said, I love to go to Sephora's product page for the most part about any item that I'm interested in wearing, especially when it comes to color, cosmetics, anything related to complexion. I always love to read the descriptions because that's going to help me determine the better or best shades to use for myself. So like I said, I have 3 shades out of 7, and the first shade I have that I think is going to be that girl is Honey Glaze, so that's shade 4. And Honey Glaze is for medium to tan skin tones. I think is going to be perfect. Teddy is for tan skin tones, so when your girl get a little bit of color in the summertime, hoping that we're going to be outside by then. And then Chocolate is for deep skin tones. So like I said, I really think Honey Glaze, excuse me, is going to be the best shade for me at this current complexion. So I'm going to hold on to that one, and I'm just going to move the other 2 to the side. Now, I have not done anything to my face yet. I just have like my regular skincare products. So I'm going to start building up my base, and then we'll be back to actually get into the new Fenty goodies. Alright guys, so a majority of my base is completed. I didn't want to set my face entirely only because, like I said, this product is cream and I'm not a fan of putting creams on top of powders. So I tried to really just set like the parts of my face that really needed it. So like under eye especially, so like very tight here, my forehead, my nose, and my chin, so that we're able to still move around with the cream bronzer. So I'm going to take off this brush. And I do like Fenty brushes because the bristles are very soft, and that's something that you definitely want to be mindful of anytime you are buying a brush. So this is what is this again? The 125 face brush. This is what it looks like. And like I said, those bristles are very soft. So now this is the packaging of the actual cream bronzer. It says cream on the front, just to let you know, so that in case you are looking between your cream and your bronzer, you do not get mixed up. And of course we have our name on the back. Let's see if that'll focus in. Our name is on the back. So I feel like Beige and Gel is the perfect fit for powder, and I believe that Honey Glaze is going to be very close to that. It does look a little browner, but it is sheer, so that you're able to build that up, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dip that into the product. And I'm going to begin applying this. I'm going to do my temples down just in case we did pick up a little too much product. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Same thing, I picked up a little more product. And I tried to clip this out of the way because my big girl bonnet was just like doing the most earlier. So that's actually nice. And like, I'm not a big fan of cream products because I feel like normally it can be very hit or miss. But these are actually pretty nice. Or this bronzer is pretty nice so far. And like, I do like that it is sheer, so that you're able to build up as you go along. And I do bring mine onto my actual, like, the cheeks. That's actually nice. And I'm gonna do the tip of my nose as I normally would with powder. And like, this looks really nice so far. Like, this looks really nice. And I always have a habit of touching it because I want to see like what it feels like, especially because like I try not to set this portion of my face, but I feel like so far that looks pretty good, and it looks as my normal bronzing situation would look. So all right. And keep in mind, this is from someone that's not a fan of cream products. I prefer liquid and powder. Cream, in my opinion, I feel like sometimes can be a little stiff. It doesn't move around. It's not flexible enough for the most part, where I feel like liquid is either like, it moves a lot easier, and powder is just like, this is what it is for the most part. So just want to make sure that all of that is thoroughly blended out. And I am going to do my neck a little bit as I normally would do. Look down. Warm it up just a little bit. Alright. Yeah, that actually does look pretty nice. Alright, so because this is a cream, just gonna blend that out to make sure the girls are sitting as they should. Alright, and I don't want to put too much because this is a product that I am just meeting for the first time for the most part, but I feel like this is a good start. Like, I have enough warmth to the face, I have enough depth as well. I'm not washed out. It's giving me the color, it's giving me the color that I need, because you know I barely have any, so this is the perfect way to start. So next up, I'm actually going to go right into my blush, partly because it's also a cream product, and like I said, I really don't like to set powder and then go on top of it with a cream. So now I'm going to do a little, I guess, like show and tell for the most part, also with a mini swatch to accompany them. So let's go. Alright guys, so that's a closer look at the blushes. So now that I've actually had time to swatch them and look at them, I think Summertime Wine might have actually caught my attention, which is this very pretty wine kind of shade. So I'm going to take that same brush that I used earlier, the 125 face brush. I'm going to dip that into the product, and now I'm going to start on the cheek here and then bring my way to the actual apple. It looks decent on camera, but I feel like I definitely put too much. I also feel like another way to apply these is to use your finger. Took a little on my finger and do it this way and then blend out. So let's see if there's a difference. Another reason why I'm not a fan of cream products. See, that's a lot more subtle and more of my style when it comes to blush. Like, I don't need a ton. I just need a cute little flush. And this is, in my opinion, entirely too much on this side. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to adjust this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my powder brush, because I actually needed to set my face anyway. And I'm just gonna buff that into this and see if that makes a difference. At least to soften it a little bit. Because, like, in my opinion, that's definitely too much blush. For me, at least. For somebody else, that they might be fine with that, but that's definitely too much for me. And I still feel like that's a bit too much. But it definitely is softer, I will say. So that is gonna have to work. And I'll just like apply a little more to the apple. Okay. Tip of my nose as well. Because I feel like blush on the tip of the nose is just a very cute look. So, and what I love about these being cream is that you can probably find more than one use. So like cheek flush, lip flush, eyes as well. So there are gonna be plenty of ways to use these blushes. So I'm gonna finish up the remainder of my face and then we'll be back for final thoughts. Alright guys, so we are back. So I'm gonna give my final thoughts for the most part on the cream bronzer and the cream cheeks out blushes as well. So for the bronzer, I really did like the bronzer. Like I said before, I'm not a big fan of cream products, partly because I find that cream products tend to be a little harder to move, whereas liquid, I feel like you can do a lot with liquid and move it around very easily. But what I did like with the bronzer is that I did like that it is a sheer coverage, there we go, and you're able to build it up. I found that once I did like my first initial application of the bronzer, I felt like I looked like my normal self, which is of course key, but I found that it looked a lot more skin-like. There's a little more work that comes with powders for the most part. So that's one thing that I did like about the cream bronzer. I really don't have any complaints about it, so I'm definitely going to play with it a little more, especially because I just hit pan on my powder bronzer not too long ago, and I have been tapping that ever so gently to make sure that I'm able to do my face as I need it to be done. But I'm definitely going to get more into using the bronzer, especially the cream version of it. I found that the shade Honey Glaze was perfect for my complexion. It definitely gives me the, I guess like it would be comparable to my regular powder shade, which would be Beijing Gal. I found that this shade looks absolutely gorgeous on me, and it's very warm, not super, you know, it doesn't oxidize is the word that I'm looking for. I feel that it looks very good. It works very well with my complexion as well, and it blends easily into the skin. And I think, like I said, that was the one thing that I really liked about it being a cream product, is the fact that it blends very seamlessly into the skin. So that's a little bit of tea on the bronzer. For matte on blush, now, like I said, I'm not a fan of cream products, and one thing I will say about this blush is that I wouldn't go in again right away using a brush to apply it. I would do a finger application and then use the actual brush to buff it out. I found that going in right away with the brush, because it's a product that I'm just getting to know, I found that I applied too much blush at first, and then I was trying to figure out how to soften it to make it a little more subtle. But the funny thing is that I actually ended up going back in and adding more blush, but we'll get to that in a second. And once I set my face, I really found that I needed to add a little more blush. And I was skeptical at first because I really don't like adding cream. I don't like adding any kind of like cream or liquid powder products on top of a set face. I find that it is just a lot more work, and I'm always scared that it's gonna come out very patchy in certain areas. But I feel like this looks good. It doesn't look patchy at all. It's great color. I use the shade Summertime Wine, and I really just feel like this looks absolutely amazing. Even stepping away from the actual lighting setup here and going to look in the bathroom or like taking a photo, it just looks really great in photos. I'm gonna see if I can attach a selfie somewhere here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, just because it'll be a little different from like the actual 3-point, you know, lighting system that I have set up right here. But I feel like this looks really good. It was very easy to apply, but I did find that in certain areas it did get a little patchy because I'm applying a cream product on top of already set face and powder. So I just went back into certain areas and just added a little more color where I felt that it looked patchy and just blended it out as much as I needed to, so that I have this very soft you know, wash of color going on right here. One thing I will say is that with these blushes, please do not hold yourself to using them strictly as blush. Because it's a cream product and they are buildable, I would try wearing some of the shades on lips, definitely on eyes as well, and just really going for like super dramatic blush looks where you bring like the blush all the way up to like, you know, your temple area. I love looks like that, and just tying it into your eye makeup as well. So I feel like these products definitely have multiple uses, and that's definitely something that I would love to see and test out for myself in the future. So that's pretty much it on my review and demo of the new Fenty cream. I want to get the name right. The cream Cheeks Out the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer and the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush. These are the shades. I'll of course list everything below so you guys have an idea of the shades that I did receive and what I did use for this video. But I really hope that you all enjoyed this review and demo. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that red button below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.